Eat my shorts, because we're here to talk about the eldest child and only son of the Simpsons family. Hi, I'm Joe with Channel Frederator, and today we're counting down 107 facts about Bart Simpson. And if something happens during this video, we didn't do it, nobody saw us do it, and there's no way you can prove it. Now, without further ado, let's do the Bart Man. Let's get started. Bart's full name is Bartholomew Jojo Simpson. Marge was in labor with Bart for 53 hours. That's over 2 days. Guess he was trouble even in the womb. A flashback revealed that Marge mistakenly ingested a single drop of champagne when she was pregnant, and this mistake was the cause of Bart's mischievous personality. Bart's birthday has been widely contested over the years. In 2011, Twitter proclaimed it as February 23rd, but there is evidence that supports multiple dates. Released in 1991, The Simpsons' Uncensored Family album noted that his birthday was April 1st, which would coincide with his trickster personality. However, in the episode Simpsorama in 2014, his birthday was announced as February 23rd. Maybe that Twitter proclamation changed history. Bart was conceived at a mini-golf course. Maybe this explains why he's so good at putt-putt later in his life. What did Bart do within 10 minutes of being born? He set Homer's tie on fire, the first of his many pranks. Bart's blood type is O negative, which was extremely important in the Blood Feud episode, as he was able to save Mr. Burns' life. If Bart aged in real time, he would be 39 years old this year. That's Homer's age as of season 10 in the show. For only being perpetually 10 years old, Bart has been given many honorable titles. In 1990, he was named Entertainment Weekly's Entertainer of the Year, and Time named him among the 100 influential people of the century in 1998. Series creator Matt Groening created Bart because he was disappointed with how Dennis the Menace wasn't a real troublemaker. He made sure that his character would actually be a menace and cause real mayhem in the show. In the original Tracy Ullman shorts, Bart was the only character to appear in all 48 shorts. While waiting for Maggie's first words, the family reminisced over the other kids' first words. Bart's were "Ay caramba," when he walked into his parents' room at the wrong time. While focusing on Lisa's first words, we hear the story of how Bart was originally jealous of his sister and had planned on running away from his family. Lisa's first words saved the day, as it was Bart, which showed him that she loved her big brother. When Homer forced his family to stay inside to avoid being evicted by Ned Flanders, we found out that Bart's hair is naturally red. It turns its trademark yellow color due to sunlight. Like his father, Bart has the Simpson gene, which is only on the Y chromosome and is the cause of baldness and laziness. The gene only affects the males in the family, so Bart'll have to watch out. While Bart's hair was originally a differing number of spikes from time to time, it was eventually declared that he would have 9 spikes from now on. This was noted during the commentary on the complete 5th season DVD. Although Bart's prank calls to Moe are iconic, there have only been a total of 20 across the entire series, including the movie. Bart has rapped on 2 singles, Do the Bartman and Deep Deep Trouble, which were on the Simpsons' Sing the Blues album, released in 1991. Both songs feature Nancy Cartwright, Bart's voice actor, performing his vocals. Both songs also had music videos created for them, became popular, and topped the charts in multiple countries, such as Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, Norway, and the United Kingdom. Bart's locker combination is 36-24-36, which was popularized by the Commodore's song Brick House. The numbers note their ideal proportions for a woman, which is also referred to in Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back. Bart has had a few different catchphrases during his Butterfinger advertisements, but the most iconic one is "Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger." The other catchphrases include "It's neato," "Bite my Butterfinger," and "Nothing like a Butterfinger." Aside from the Butterfingers commercials, Bart's most well-known catchphrase is "Eat my shorts." This phrase debuted in the 2nd episode of the 1st season, but the first time he used it chronologically was towards Principal Skinner when he was in kindergarten. "Eat my shorts" was actually an ad-lib by Nancy Cartwright. She originally said the phrase while in her high school marching band during her senior year. Instead of shouting "Fairmont West," she shouted "Eat my shorts." She and her bandmates occasionally did this to goof around. Nancy Cartwright had a vanity license plate that featured one of Bart's catchphrases. "I put my money down on Ay caramba." Bart has a proficiency for mooning people. He mooned Dr. Hibbert during his sonogram, Lisa when he got his spy camera and was taking a picture of his butt, and the people of Australia when he was supposed to be kicked as an apology. Bart is member number 16302 of the Krusty Buddy fan club. We learned this during Like Father Like Clown when he writes to Krusty to revoke his membership. Bart's nemesis, Sideshow Bob, first tangled with the 10-year-old terror in Krusty Gets Busted, when Bart and Lisa proved Krusty's innocence with evidence that Sideshow Bob framed him for robbery, mainly camera footage showing his big feet versus Krusty's small feet. After attempting to murder Bart several times throughout the series, Sideshow Bob finally had Bart in his clutches in The Great Louse Detective, but could not bring himself to kill him because he had grown accustomed to his face. After saving the town from a fire, albeit because of an elaborate prank he had planned using the school's fire extinguishers, Bart requests the only sensible thing a 10-year-old would ask for: a driver's license. Even crazier, Mayor Quimby grants him his wish. Bart has had a lasting effect on real-world religious discussions, as the episode that features him selling his soul to Milhouse has been widely debated and used to explore the nature of the soul. Bart's first alter ego is shown in the show's second season, when he dons his Bartman costume to try and get a discount at the comic convention that he and his family attend. Unfortunately, he isn't allowed the discount since his hero was of his own making and at the last second, but he finds Radioactive Man #1 on sale at the convention. After working hard and pooling money with his friends, he buys the issue, but through paranoia and obsession, he and his friends destroy the comic and almost kill each other. Bart's obsession with Radioactive Man continues when he auditions for the part of Fallout Boy, Radioactive Man's sidekick. When a film based on the character comes to Springfield, he fails to get the part because he's an inch too short, and Milhouse is cast as Fallout Boy. Bartman eventually returns in the Bartman Begins segment of the episode. Revenge is a dish best served 3 times. This segment primarily parodies Batman, with Marge and Homer dying, and Homer asking Bart to avenge him in flamboyant and impractical fashion. The Bartman comic cover featured here is an homage to the Amazing Spider-Man #50 cover for the Spider-Man No More storyline. Despite his love for Krusty, Bart is terrified of clowns. After Homer builds him a clown bed as a child, a particularly horrifying looking one, we might add, Bart constantly repeats, "Can't sleep, clown will eat me." Hey, I would have reacted the same way. Bart's intelligence has been shown to varying degrees throughout the series. While in some episodes he's shown as stupid, in others he's shown as intelligent but lazy. When he went to France as a foreign exchange student, he was able to speak near perfect French after 2 months and helped stop criminals taking advantage of children. Bart's aptitude for languages was also shown when the family flew to Brazil, as he learned Spanish during the plane ride to the country. He was sorely disappointed when he arrived and Marge told him that Brazilians speak Portuguese. On the other hand, Bart unknowingly participated in an experiment against a hamster for Lisa's science project after he ruined her previous one. Lisa's revenge is sweet when she proves that Bart is in fact dumber than her hamster, but it doesn't last long. Bart finds out what Lisa is doing and is able to turn that project around by submitting a project called "Can Hamsters Fly Planes?", distracting Principal Skinner with adorable imagery as well as the actual hamster in a little model airplane. Bart is able to snatch the win and the ribbon away from Lisa. Bart's cunning ingenuity knows no bounds. Though he did technically outsmart her, what do you think? Is Bart smart or dumb? Comment below and let us know. One of the most important episodes about Bart's school life is the very first episode of Season 2, Bart Gets an F. It features Bart having to focus and study for a test that, if he fails, will decide whether or not he will repeat the 4th grade. This episode marked the first time a new episode of The Simpsons went up against The Cosby Show during airtime, as they were both previously on repeats during their time slot. News outlets at the time marked it as Bill versus Bart. Bart Gets an F remains the series' highest rated episode, with 33 million viewers tuning in to watch Bart focus on studying for the first time in his academic career. Bart was found to have multiple problems with his health at one point and had various treatments prescribed to him. During this time, he was bullied for 2 weeks by everyone at school because of his prescription glasses, shoes, and hair cream. He quickly finds that there's a hidden conclave of nerds at this school and briefly joins their clique. Bart was temporarily a nerd. The Super Friends, the nerd group at Bart's school, nickname him Cosmo when he steals a discovery from Principal Skinner and locates a comet. Bart was once given an experimental drug, Focusin, to treat the ADD he was diagnosed with. With the help of the drug, he was able to focus on his work, but he became irrationally paranoid. In spite of everyone's doubts, he proved his paranoia correct after stealing a tank and shooting down an MLB satellite monitoring the town. Bart was the general of an army he trained with the help of Herman, the one-armed owner of the army surplus store. Using this army, he was able to put Nelson in his place for bullying him, his sister, and other people at school. The battle was decided when Bart and his army proceeded to bomb Nelson and his cronies with water balloons. Bart has shown an aptitude for ballet, which is likely inherited from Homer. Homer was part of the gymnastics team in high school. Bart's love of ballet didn't stop him from being ashamed of it though, and he performed his first recital with a mask on. Bart's talent for physical activities wasn't limited to ballet, as he was also the star for his Pee-wee hockey team. This led to an intense rivalry with Lisa, who was a goalie for a rival team, that ended with a shootout between the two. Their love for one another led them to hug on the ice instead of finishing the game, and they left with a tied score. Bart adopted the persona of Cupcake Kid to be a sidekick to Homer's Pie Man. They battle evil by pelting them with cupcakes and pies. McFarlane Toys has released a 2-pack for the two characters in these personas. Bart has held down a few different jobs as the series has progressed. He's been a bartender and errand boy for the mob, a doorman for Springfield's burlesque house, and Krusty's assistant. While trying to escape bullies in Shelbyville, Bart runs into a zoo and is confused by the Roman numerals on the door. He's able to understand their meaning thanks to the Rocky movies, including a fictitious film called Rocky VII: Adrian's Revenge. Of the Simpsons' 618 episodes, only 265 of them did not feature a chalkboard gag during their opening. This means that Bart has written 353 different things onto the chalkboard over the past 28 years. There has only been one episode of The Simpsons that did not feature Bart, aside from the opening credits. 4 Great Women and a Manicure aired May 10th, 2009, and featured parodies of 4 famous women in history, so no Bart. Bart's relationship with his mother takes center stage during Marge Be Not Proud. Bart gets caught stealing Bone Storm, a fighting game akin to Mortal Kombat, after Marge refuses to buy it for him. After getting banned from the store and having to return for the Christmas photo, Bart's parents are shown the video of him shoplifting, and Marge becomes distant with her only son. Sullen but determined to make her proud, Bart gives her the best Christmas present he could, a new photo of himself to replace the family portrait he ruined. This episode shows that Bart isn't just a punk, he's also a sensitive kid who is open to learning from his mother. Bart has done some pretty awful things to his sister though. When he was irritated by Lisa playing her sax while he and Homer were watching TV, he tried to grab the instrument away from her and caused its destruction by mistake. This broke Lisa's heart as she could not remember a time without it. As Homer and Marge relay the story of Lisa's saxophone during that episode, we also find out that Bart was looking forward to school as a child. His dreams were crushed by an uncaring teacher who insulted him for getting his alphabet wrong. This leads Bart down a path of class clownery in an attempt to find enjoyment in school. Aw, see? He's just misunderstood. Throughout the town and in the opening credits, there is El Barto graffiti. El Barto is Bart's other alter ego, of which few townspeople know the truth about. It's a little hard to understand how they don't realize Bart is El Barto, but this is the town of Springfield we're talking about. While Bart was in Havana during Havana Wild Weekend, he proceeded to tag the walls with The Bart, which is the actual translation of El Barto. During Treehouse of Horror 7, it's revealed that Bart was actually a conjoined twin, and his parents have kept his brother in the attic this whole time. Hugo, his twin brother, was thought to be the evil twin, but his scar was on the incorrect side. Bart was then sequestered to the attic and Hugo was allowed to live with the family. This may not be canon, but it sure makes for a great horror story, with a twist. Bart is bound to a wheelchair in Bart of Darkness for a portion of the episode and seemingly witnesses a murder through his telescope. This is a tribute to Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. Who else can say that they started to ride the escalator to heaven and then fell down to hell and met Satan? Bart definitely can, as he had an out-of-body experience after being hit by Mr. Burns' car. Bart's nightmare, featured in Treehouse of Horror 2, has an omnipotent Bart taking out his frustrations on Homer. Eventually, the two reconcile, as Bart was only lashing out because of his lack of paternal attention. Bart and Homer then embrace in a heartwarming father-son moment, but then Bart wakes up, terrified. Apparently, the scariest part of the nightmare was being hugged by his dad. Ugh, issues. Over the last 28 years, Bart has had a few love interests come and go in the show. First was Laura Powers, the 13-year-old that moved in next door. Bart ends up being babysat by Laura and eventually finds out that she has a boyfriend, Jimbo Jones. The two eventually break up due to Bart's machinations, but Laura tells Bart that if he were older and had a mustache, then she'd date him. Ouch. Too bad you can't age yourself. If Bart had a problem with how his first love played out, he should take the issue up with Conan O'Brien, since he wrote the episode. Wonder if his first love experience was similar. Bart's first girlfriend was more than even he could handle. Jessica Lovejoy, Reverend Lovejoy's daughter, was a troublemaker that gave Bart a run for his money. She was voiced by the one and only Meryl Streep. Jessica even went as far as framing Bart by stealing money from the church collection plate, knowing that everyone would blame him and not suspect her. Bart was powerless against her, but Lisa protected her big brother by ratting Jessica out. Bart is also an independent filmmaker, having shot a short film and submitted it to the Springfield Film Festival. The Eternal Struggle was a film that focused on Homer trying to get his pants on. It was a hit with the crowd, but he might have misjudged how one of the judges would take it, as Homer was on the judging committee. Bart, along with his two sisters, end up getting fat while Homer is on a hunger strike during Hungry Hungry Homer. Marge definitely doesn't understand how to tone it down, but they should really focus on portion control if you ask me. As The Simpsons has multiple future timelines, storylines, Bart has a few different potential paths lying ahead of him. During the Lisa's wedding episode, we're introduced to a 25-year-old Bart that became a building demolisher and vehicle crusher. He explains that he's getting his aggression out before he attends law school, and has been divorced twice by this point. The first episode of The Simpsons to air, Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, finds Bart disobeying his parents and getting a mom tattoo, which Marge walks in on and immediately takes Bart to get it removed. After using the Christmas money to remove the tattoo, Homer takes a job as a mall Santa. He and Bart end up at the dog track after Barney tells him about placing bets, but instead of money winnings, they only walk away with a dog, Santa's little helper. Santa's little helper goes on to be Bart's best friend throughout the series, aside from Milhouse. As noted on our 107 Facts About The Simpsons, Bart's name is an anagram for brat. Mr. Burns actually calls Bart Brat during the episode There's No Disgrace Like Home. As punishment for Homer's disrespect to the Emperor during 30 Minutes Over Tokyo, Bart and Homer are thrown into a Japanese jail. During this time, they quickly gain an understanding of the Japanese language and are heard speaking it in front of Marge and Lisa, refusing to reveal the secrets of inner peace because they are foreign devils. Bart is revealed to have an extraordinary sense of smell during The Real Housewives of Fat Tony. He is able to locate truffles with only his nose guiding him. In a parody of The Island of Dr. Moreau, Bart is turned into a human/spider hybrid by Dr. Hibbert in the aptly named The Island of Dr. Hibbert segment of the Treehouse of Horror 13. A very well-developed theory proposes that Bart might be queer. His deep relationship with Milhouse, as well as the intense relationship he had with Nelson during the Ha Ha'd couple, have led to these interesting interpretations. While at military school, Bart shows an uncanny proficiency with firearms. He's able to accurately take down 4 out of 5 targets with a grenade launcher, but then totals Principal Skinner's car with his 5th missed shot. Obviously, that leads us to believe that it wasn't really a missed shot. The prank that sent Bart to military school, lining up 10 bullhorns to make a sound wave, works in cartoons, but has been disproved in the real world. A fan attempted the prank and the row of megaphones sounded the same as if one megaphone was being used. Bart skates nude in the Simpsons movie, and at one point he is shown completely nude in a full frontal view. This did not change the rating of the movie, as it was still listed as PG-13. Nancy Cartwright has won multiple awards for voicing Bart. She took home a Primetime Emmy Award in 1992, as well as an Annie Award in 1995. Bart was featured as a 3D model during Treehouse of Horror 6, along with Homer. The animation team was unsure of how to show Bart's hair and based it off of a vinyl toy that was released. Bart has a whole biography dedicated to his life. In 2004, HarperCollins released The Bart Book, the first of the Simpsons Library of Wisdom series. The book focuses on various parts of Bart's life. One chapter is dedicated to stuff to do, which includes trademarking El Barto, altering his report card, and hugging his mom. The list pretty much sums up who he is as a character. The books didn't stop there though, as HarperCollins released Bart Simpson's Guide to Life, a wee handbook for the perplexed. This book focuses on life advice from Bart, with recommendations on how to approach food, parents, and religion. Nancy Cartwright recently surprised a 13-year-old selling chocolate for his school. She bought a few bars and she went on to do her Bart voice. The 13-year-old did not understand at first, but then appropriately freaked out. Bart finds that he has a doppelganger named Simon and switches lives with him so he can experience the finer things in life. Little does he know that Simon has him set up to be killed by his siblings, who are looking to get the inheritance all for themselves. This just goes to show, never trust someone with your face. While Bart can be a terror, he does have a conscience. While he did take advantage of Ralph Wiggum by abusing his friendship and the master key that Chief Wiggum had, Bart does the right thing in the end when he stands up to Nelson and the other bullies in defense of Ralph. See, he can be good. It just takes a little while. Bart is allergic to shrimp, which is something Principal Skinner abuses when Bart decides to weaponize Skinner's peanut allergy. Bart and Lisa are credited with the modern resurgence of the phrase, meh. Whenever you have a neutral feeling and utter the phrase, be sure to thank Bart, Lisa, and the Simpsons writing team. Bart has been the focus of multiple video games. Some titles include Bart's House of Weirdness, an extremely hard PC side-scroller, Bart vs. the Space Mutants, a side-scrolling beat-em-up, and Bart Simpson's Escape from Camp Deadly, a platformer that features Bart and Lisa being tortured at a summer camp by Mr. Burns' evil nephew. One of the most popular games, which is still around in some arcades across the world, is aptly titled The Simpsons. The 1991 game allowed 4 players to pick one of the family members and fight across Springfield to save a kidnapped Maggie. Bart wields wielded his skateboard with reckless abandon to crush his foes in this beat-em-up title. In Treehouse of Horror 10, Bart and Lisa develop superpowers because of a malfunctioning X-ray machine. Bart gains the ability to stretch his limbs and goes by the name Stretch Dude. In the early 1990s, Bart was so popular that the time was dubbed Bartmania. Millions of shirts and other merchandise was sold, which totaled for at least $2 billion in revenue. One of the t-shirts featuring Bart with the catchphrase, "Underachiever and proud of it, man," was extremely popular, but it was banned in schools because they deemed Bart a bad influence on children. Merchandise featuring Bart as well as other members of the Simpsons family were so popular that a thriving counterfeit market was able to be sustained. It was believed to have moved millions of dollars worth of copyright infringed items. The only counterfeit shirts Matt Groening had an issue with were shirts depicting Bart as a Nazi or white supremacist skinhead. Fox actually sued the creator of the merchandise, Tom Metzger, a white supremacist and founder of the White Aryan Resistance. Bart Simpson continues to be an influence in pop culture. Rapper Lil Yachty was seen wearing a chain featuring Bart Simpson. Lil Yachty was inspired by fellow rapper Gucci Mane, who has his own Bart Simpson chain. Bart is featured at the Simpsons ride in Universal Studios Florida. Guests experience Krusty Land through the ride and witness Sideshow Bob trying to murder the Simpsons family. In 2012, Bart was present for the induction of the Simpsons to the Walk of Fame in Hollywood. Chris Turner, author of Planet Simpson, believes that Bart had nihilism down, like a good punk rocker. To him, Bart's disregard for authority, his fights with his sister, and his focus on making Homer feel murderous rage are what define his character in that way. Fulton County in Atlanta had Bart Simpson votes written in for the 2016 election. Long live President Bartman! Bart appeared in the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade from 1990 to 1995. During that time, his t-shirt was ripped in 1993 after snagging a tree. Aw. In Bart vs. Thanksgiving, Homer tells Bart, if you start building a balloon for every flash-in-the-pan cartoon character, you turn the parade into a farce. Behind Homer, you can briefly see the Bart Simpson balloon on the television screen. Bootleg Bart was the theme for a design competition organized by B Street in 2015. Various artists provided their interpretation of Bart and the rest of the Simpsons cast in various art styles. In 2009, Bart and the rest of the Simpson family were immortalized on stamps released by the US Postal Service. The Simpsons is one of two shows, the other being Sesame Street, to receive that honor while still on the air. Bart has a chapter dedicated to analyzing him in the book The Simpsons and Philosophy, The Dough of Homer, which is an unofficial release. This book compares Bart to the Nietzschean ideal, which idealizes a Superman that is able to master the whole spectrum of human potential. Bart and the rest of the cast were the focus of the crowd-funded project Bartkira, which took The Simpsons and put them into the iconic anime manga Akira. In the project, Bart was cast as the hero Kaneda. The Bartkira project has work from over 500 artists, has had multiple exhibitions, and is still in the process of being released. If you want to see a compilation of original artwork dedicated to one of cartoon's most influential characters, you can read all the way through Volume 5 online. Volume 6 will be released soon. Thanks for watching 107 Facts About Bart Simpson. What's your favorite Bart prank? Or catchphrase? What's his best heartfelt moment? Comment below and let us know. We have videos dropping every day, so make sure to subscribe to Channel Frederator and don't forget to click the bell icon to become part of the notification squad. Cause remember, Frederator loves you.